Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the home of the
Thank you. Roll call. Please note that Director Poston is not with us tonight. Oh, sorry, Director Potts. Let's try again. Director Potts is not in attendance tonight. And Director Yankee, would you please read the mission and vision statement?
The Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. Vision statement: education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you. Director Poston, please read the guiding principles.
Opportunity. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and community stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. Transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
Thank you. Superintendent Schneckloff, please read the goal.
Today's goal time will be goal number 4.
Thank you. Next up is our recognition, Heart of Excellence. Superintendent.
Yes, again, at the direction of Board President Klein Jerome, we started the Growing Excellence Awards for this school year. The fourth quarter Heart of Excellence recipients. It looks like we have 3 of them with us tonight, so I'm going to read a little bit about each one of them. Sarah Klingeman. Sarah Klingeman has created an engaging, welcoming library at Garfield Elementary School where students are excited to read and learn. By honoring students' interests and collaborating with colleagues, she brings literacy to life through creative experiences, including Garfield's new Olympic tradition. Her impact reaches beyond the library, supporting students and staff across the building with creativity and care. We are grateful for the passion and dedication she brings to Garfield each day. Mr. Matt Stroop, the assistant principal down at Smart. Matt Stroop is a dedicated leader who consistently does whatever it takes to support Smart Middle School, stepping in wherever needed, even covering classrooms when necessary. His willingness to do so reflects both his commitment and the strong systems he has built. Through his coaching approach to observations and evaluation, Matt supports staff's growth, help strengthen practices across the building, and we are grateful for Matt's leadership, flexibility, and dedication to our students and staff. Miss Simone, it was awesome to be at McKinley the other day, and when you bring her name up, everyone just smiles. That was an overwhelming feeling we had there. Miss Simone makes a meaningful impact on students across the building at McKinley Elementary School, especially our English language learners. Through her compassion, high expectations, and willingness to step in wherever needed, she consistently goes above and beyond to ensure student success. From leading engaging experiences like Multicultural Day to supporting learners both in and beyond the classroom, her dedication is evident in all she does. We are grateful to her commitment to our students and to our community. And last but definitely not least is Ms. Gina Ekstrom. Gina is dedicated and dependable leader who goes above and beyond to support our schools. She ensures health offices are staffed, often stepping in herself, and provides guidance and support to colleagues whenever needed. As ASC Wellness Champion, she brings creativity and care to staff each month. Recognized for her expertise in the 504 process, Gina recently stepped into the role of district co-facilitator without hesitation. We are grateful for her resilience, compassion, and unwavering dedication to our students, staff, and families. And as one of your past supervisors, Gina, I know that sentiment goes across the state, and we appreciate your leadership. So we have our 3 of our 4 here. So if you wouldn't mind coming up, we want to get a picture with the school board.
Next up is School Board Recognition Month.
May is Iowa Association of School Boards recognition month for our school board, and what a fitting time to celebrate a wonderful group of human beings. When I was reflecting on how the school year has gone for our school board and our leadership, we think oftentimes what happens in our school board, it goes from the boardroom to the living room, and that's the impact that our school board is trying to have. When I reflected back on the school year and the impact that this body of human beings has had, I think it started with about this time last year when the school board started to develop the long-range strategic plan, where we started moving things together, where we started combining our initiatives underneath one umbrella. Our board goals, our facility planning, our school improvement initiatives are streamlined. And that kind of led the way for some outstanding accomplishments by this body of people. It set the stage for us to be the first to settle our contracts in the state. I don't think that can be understated at how exactly important that is. It allows us to be aggressive with our hiring and budgeting, be out first, and to be first in the state. That says a lot, and that's the tone of this school board. This year, we've established the direction of the Phase 2 long-range facility master planning, which I wanted you to, when you contemplate, one of the highlights is that when that plan is accomplished, 80% of our students will have, or 80% of our preschoolers will have a spot. That is unbelievable, and that's been a goal for this school board for a very long time to do, and that was accomplished by this group this year. Our continued commitment to strong governance. We were in a meeting the other day where it's very easy for me to go out and get one of the five years in a row plaques that we have won from Iowa. This body has won from Iowa Association of School Boards to show the commitment that this school board has to ensuring that we're following best practices, that our governance is where it should be. As Director Barnes says, eyes in, hands out style of leadership, and this board embodies that. And the continued the continued commitment toward that says a lot about our board. But probably the greatest strength of the school board is that individually, you guys all have your own unique perspectives. And together, you've created unified leadership that moves this district forward. And I don't think that can be overstated. So on behalf of the students, staff, and our community, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your unwavering support, because we know the paycheck for this job isn't very big, the long-running joke. So in front of you, there's a certificate showing appreciation for the service that you have done over the last couple of years with some of the highlights that we have. So again, thank you for everything that you do for our students, staff, and our community.
Thank you. Board reports. Director Beck.
I had the privilege of attending one day of the state track meet and watching a number of students from Central and North compete. It was great to see that we have students who are competing at the highest level in the state. And it was also really fun to cheer on some of the other neighboring schools, but not all of them, as they did great work there. It was a really fun event, and our schools did great.
That's great. Anybody else? I attended the Student Built Home Open House. It's nearing completion. It's for sale if anybody wants to buy a house. It was very nice. They have a lot next door to it that they will use next year to build another home. So we had about 18, 20 kids that participated in building the home. I also attended Project Search graduation last Wednesday. That's always a neat event to see. Those kids have learned skills, and 5 out of the 7 have jobs already, and the other 2 we're going to have interviews the next morning. So that's an exciting thing to watch. Anybody else? Okay. Communication. Let me get to the right page. Not on here. Open forum is a time for individuals of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak, please fill out the open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees or on the school board page of the district's webpage for those who want to participate virtually. Virtual participants must email their request. To the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees on the school board page of the district's webpage for those who want to participate virtually. They must email the request to board comments at mail.davenport.k12.ia.us, which is a new place to send it to, and just point that out, by 3 p.m. on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published on the agenda item. Iowa open meeting law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The president may set the amount of time allowed for the individuals to speak, which is 2 minutes. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. You will be asked to state your name and home address prior to making remarks. Please note that the board meetings are recorded and the recordings are available online. We don't have any virtually, right, Ivy? Okay. So I have one open forum. Kim Brewster, please come to the podium. Push the button. It'll turn green. State your name and address.
My name is Kim Brewster. I live at 2016 Lorton Avenue in Davenport. Um, Last time I was here, I was very emotional, and I still can't believe that the school district my entire family attended um, and have loved would choose a dog over a student. Now, with saying that, last time I was here, it was just my family. Since being here, I have found another family that is in attendance today, and she has written a letter that she'd like me to read to you guys as well. And over the weekend, I had a third family reach out to me as well. All of us have 504s in place for allergies to dogs. However, Sabo still allows the dog to touch our children, to interact with our children. They do not clean after the dog goes through areas. So if you ever go to Sudlow and look at the floor, especially around the front entrance, you will see black dog hair all over there. Um, but this lady here is Felicia Shears. She's the parent of a student with the Davenport Community Schools. She's here today to express her concerns regarding her daughter's health and safety accommodations related to the documented allergy and the implementation of a therapy dog program within the school environment. A 504 accommodation was recently put in place stating that the therapy dog should not be present during passing times in shared hallways. However, on Monday, May 18th, so a week ago and a day, during passing time between 8th and 9th period, the therapy dog was present in the hallway despite the accommodations. The parent actually had a look at the video and saw for herself that the dog was by her child. The dog was not under the control of the handler. The dog was allowed to run up. The dog has ran up to my child as well numerous times. She states, my concern is not with students receiving support services. My concern is with ensuring the accommodations and safety plans are followed constantly and that all students can safely access their educational environment. I've also experienced inconsistent communication and conflicting information regarding how these accommodations are being implemented. I'm respectfully asking the district to ensure accountability, consistent compliance with 504 accommodations, and clear communications moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more quick thing. I was told that the dog will not be there next year, and I'm hoping that as a school board, you guys will all work together to ensure that that doesn't happen. Um, I have a recording that I'd be more than welcome to share with anybody of Tanya Wilkins stating that there is actually no need for the dog in the school. The dog is left in a classroom. The children cannot access the dog during school time. So if a child needs that dog, the child cannot go to the dog because the dog is in a classroom and that child is in a classroom. The dog is not allowed to leave that classroom and go to another classroom until passing time. However, it's not allowed out in the hallways during passing times, but they keep letting it out. And
Thank you. Next up is consent agenda. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes,
I move the board accept the consent agenda as written.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Committee reports. Breaking barriers.
We will meet in June.
Legislative advocacy. I'm sorry.
So we will meet in June, and right now, well, they're about to end, they're doing a resource fair. And a few families had stopped in. One family was really appreciative. As soon as she came to the door, I'm looking for Shane Ford. And she was really excited about it. Then she said she was going to leave and go to the food pantry, and she came back and she just went to naming off all the various resources that she had been helped with. So it's a very successful event, and I'm going to try to do another one in August, just prior to school starting.
That's great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off before. Local School Advisory Committee.
We're done meeting for this academic year and won't meet again until the next academic year.
Long Range Facilities. Policy will meet the first Wednesday in June. maybe not next week, I guess. Recognition, you saw the results of fourth quarter recognition, so we won't meet again until the fall. And finance. Take it away, Kevin.
At the finance meeting on Thursday, that was not there. We reviewed our monthly report. This report is for the month ending April 30th. Ivy, if you could go to the monthly fund report first. This is going to look very similar to the last 2 months. I'll point out a couple things in there of interest. You'll see on the expenditure side that our salaries are about $2.4 million more. When you remember this current year that we're just about ending, we were at 3% salary increase. So that's very logical to go from 101 to 103 million as far as salaries and benefits go. You'll also see on purchase services, we highlighted that because there's a couple things that are happening. If you remember how the AEA flow through has changed, I mentioned that before. There's some movement from the other objects that's at the bottom of this first page up to purchase services, and you'll notice that the other objects, I didn't highlight that, but you can see that that's much lower this year, so there was some movement of those kind of things. And there's also timing of curriculum purchases that happen in purchase services. I did mention something last month that you would see our balance get closer to zero. At first I was surprised to see our surplus deficit at a negative 5 million, but you have to remember that we have not been able to cash reserve the last couple of years. So this is where, when I say we're going to see our solvency start to come down, now that we're 60 days from the end of the year, you're going to see this negative amount, and it's going to correlate when we get to our key measures report. And so I'll bring this back around when we go to the next page. But also on this page, on the sales tax, you'll see the $11.8 million. That's a correlation, if you scroll to page 2, please, to the debt service. That's the movement of our debt payments into debt service so we can make the payment there. And you'll see that our capital projects, it's worth highlighting to see that we are at 88 million. The reason that's a good number is because our first 82 million that we received with our premium payment from our first bond issue is spent. That is the second payment that we received, but you'll notice in those expenditures, if you scroll down just a little bit, we were at about 101 or 111 million. I can't remember last month, and now we're down at 91 million. I mentioned last time that's the highest we're going to see it. Now you're going to start to see that come from 90 million, and you're going to see that come down significantly over the next 6 months as we get projects wrapped up. And the debt service total, you see the 16.7. That is this year's payment that we still have to make on June 1st, and it's setting up so that we have the money in debt service for next year's payment. That's why it has a $16 million figure in there. That's anticipated. The final thought on this is I'm looking at our internal service, our surplus deficit. It went up a little bit this month. It had been coming down. It was almost $1 million a few months ago. Now it's starting to climb back up. We're going to keep our eye on that. But if you remember, we raised our premiums payment into this fund by 5% next year. This seems like a lot, but it's actually still fairly low in comparison to other districts. This kind of justifies why we keep saying we need to raise our premiums a little bit each year, and we went 5% with an $800,000 deficit. That's important to keep that in mind. So we're going to be doing things to fund this so it doesn't continue to go negative. Even still, with a $21 million balance, we're still in the acceptable range of what we should have as a balance in that self-insurance fund. Any questions on the monthly report? If not, on the key measures, this one I really like the way it's showing. It's very similar to the last 2 months. You'll see that our UAB is running at about a little over 18%. As expected, it's pretty much stayed there for the last 3 months. And you'll notice that we're at 99.5% of our spending our authority. That is getting to the 100%. This is what we expected. It's very close. It's right in that line. And the part about the solvency, that last number, the 18.3%, it's a perfect balance between our UAB and our solvency. That's a good thing to have. But when I said we had a $5 million deficit for the year to date, we were at 24%. It's going to 18%. That is anticipated. I've been saying all along to you that you're going to start seeing our solvency come down. Now you're starting to see the reality of that as we get to 10 out of the 12 months a year. Any questions on key measures?
Would you also address, the agenda planning committee today was putting on the transfers that we're going to be requesting in June. Can you kind of briefly go over what's going to be coming in front of the board?
Sure. There's a couple transfers that are going to be coming that it won't affect the general fund impact that much because it's anticipated. One thing that we do every year is food nutrition pays for overhead costs, electricity, custodial help, those kind of things, and we do an amount not to exceed. We'll be coming with that before the end of the year. We also have several of our insurance claims that are the deductible portion. We have to pay that either out of PEPAL or general fund and get reimbursed by the management fund. The management fund will pay for those deductibles, those out-of-pocket deductibles. So we're going to be coming to you with a sum total. We've been collecting them through the year. Instead of doing it one time here and one time there, we do them all at once. So we're going to be requesting a fund transfer from management fund into those funds. So there'll be a little bit of movement that way.
Thank you. Anybody have a question about that? Because it will come up next meeting. All good? Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. Items requiring action. First up is the FY26 budget amendment.
Madam President,
Director Poston.
move the board approve the fiscal year 26 budget amendment as presented for a net increase of $5 million.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Roll call.
Opposed, same sign.
Karen.
Oh,
Roll call.
thank
Sorry.
you. You told me that. Okay, it's not written that way, but Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Yonke,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. Next up, renew SRO agreement. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes,
I move the board approve the intergovernmental 28E agreement with the City of Davenport regarding school resource officers as presented.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Beck.
I know it's been a while since we had a discussion about the SROs, so I assume no news is good news, and we're just re-upping, basically continuing with what we've been doing for the past, correct? Thank you.
Any other? Director Yonke.
Thank you. Just kind of following up, like Director Beck had mentioned, it's been a while. Have we had any, I know we randomly do in-depth research into it, kind of taking a look at what they do, the impact on the students. Have we had that recently to know that this is still a good decision?
Yes, there are two portions to this, the MOU, and then there's another document that goes into how we will operate between the two entities. So we're still reviewing data regularly. We have to meet with the city. So President Klein-Jerome and I, we met with the city. We reviewed, are we still following the best practices? So yes, we are. and we're following all the elements laid out in the agreement and pairing those next to best practices. That's what they are. There's lots of education, there's lots of diversion, there's lots of different sorry, the education, the diversion, and then the data review. So we look at how, when the calls come in, how are they funneling them. Our SROs have nothing to do with student discipline, which was the big thing. So that's the majority of our calls come from, you know, a major event or something that happens outside of the school, and they know they can go and talk to the SRO at school. So we still feel confident that this is the best path forward. This was jointly created with LULAC and AACP. And so we still have a standing meeting monthly with those organizations, and those organizations also meet with the city to review that data on a regular cadence. So all of those things are being followed. We feel confident in that. And so
Have you thought about adding any of like the disability community groups in with that, being that many times our disabled students interact?
no, that's good feedback.
Director Beck?
I was just going to follow up with, I do appreciate that the data dashboard is still really available, easily available on the city website. So thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, approve MOU between Scott Community College. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board make a motion to approve the Eastern Iowa Community College memorandum in the agreement for the 26-27 school year.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Barnes.
It's quite an agreement to review. I'm curious, who is responsible within the school district to ensure compliance? Because there's the term compliance throughout the agreement. And do we audit the mutual expectation of what is expected of our employees and what is expected of EICC on an annual basis?
Yeah, there's two things to that. One, we take a regional approach with that. So there's a group of the Mississippi Bend AEA does a lot of work with EICC since it does impact. So there's a north region, we call it the metro region, and the south region, and we all have different agreements with EICC. And so we have a committee of human beings that work on that for the metro. Inside our organization, that's Diane Campbell and her group with the course guide that we have in place. And so that definitely needs to be tightened up. And as we move forward, it's going to be really, really important as the dollars begin to shrink and we have to really prioritize what we're doing. And so there is that group of people in our curriculum department. The other thing that we need to do a better job of is just auditing what classes are our students taking. And you'll notice the legislature passed some things that gave us a little bit more teeth, because it used to be just wide open. So if a student takes a class, fails it, it can be on the hook for paying for that class. So those are some things that we're going to really be paying closer attention to. But the long answer is that we have a larger group of superintendents, and then we have people that are really close to the work, like Mike Vukovic, Diane Campbell, that are really trying to monitor that. But it is a very big animal to monitor.
The other question I have is related to professional development recognition or time recognition for additional orientations and additional observations for our school district teachers who are facilitating these courses. Is there acknowledgement of that, and is that all on our dime, or is it an expectation of those teachers just to give of their time for those expected orientations?
I think it varies between classes, but essentially there are teachers on our time teaching a curriculum that's monitored by the community college. And so those teachers go to our professional development. There is some things that they have to do with the community college, but I can get a better answer for that if you like.
Director Beck.
As someone who teaches at a community college, I can say that the college, at least in Illinois, we go through a pretty extensive process of making sure that the faculty in the high schools, if they're teaching our classes, are aware of how we teach classes. Our department chairs observe just as they would with any of our faculty. So teachers in the district would be considered something kind of like an adjunct to the college. Pay system is a totally different thing. I don't know how that works, but I did wonder along the same lines when there are the totally online courses, particularly the CCIR, where an individual student might be taking a course online through the college. Who monitors that activity, and how are students given time to accomplish those to make sure that they understand, online courses are not for everybody, and that particularly at the high school level, somebody needs to kind of remind them that this is what you need to be doing.
It has been a work in progress, and it has been something that our counselors and administrators at the building level have been involved in. With some of the changes, it's going to be more important that we're more integrally involved in that. So the processes are there for checkpoints with counselors, but I think we need to expand upon it as those opportunities continue to be more prevalent.
I'm just thinking, I teach an online course, online completely, and I have a lot of dual enrollment students, and many of them are fantastic. Most of them are, but there's the few that sort of, especially this time of year, tend to have they finish school at their school. They don't realize that we're still in class, or just other little things like that. And I've always just wondered who's monitoring, and when do they have a class period time to do these kinds of things.
There are students that have time, especially seniors, that have time in their schedule that they're using for that coursework. We also have liaisons with Eastern Iowa that our counselors work with. So there is another layer that I forgot to mention in my first response too.
Right. Perfect. Thank you.
Isn't one of the changes too that if we offer it in person, they have to do it? The legislature, didn't they say, and if you're going online, you're paying it yourself, the students? I think that was one of the changes.
I think that was one of the changes. The prominent change is that if you fail, you have to pay for it, but then it gives us discretion where and when we offer it, because it used to be if we offered it here, we had to offer it in multiple places, and so students would sign up for both of them, see which instructor they like, and then drop one to go to the other, and we're still on the hook for paying for that. And so those are some of the things that were tightened up in this session. John, anything to add to that?
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, North High School Public Address System, PA. Could I have a motion? Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the installation and the implementation of the North PA system in the amount of $113,941.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Sudlow Intermediate Public Address System. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the installation and implementation of the Sudlow PA system in the amount of $90,317.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Excuse me, I gotta write this in. Discussion items. Superintendent.
We're looking to purchase additional open gate systems. Basically, these have to do with access. So, on out of school time events, it's really difficult to get one of your sets all the way down to the fine arts section. And we're noticing that with a couple of our middle schools as well. Sergeant Nyree, do you have anything to add to the additional purchase of these? If you would come up to a microphone. And thank you for coming back from Golf League to do this part of the presentation. I think that's above and beyond.
Thank you. I apologize for my attire, but I came right from the golf course to here. So what we're finding is a couple of things. Number one, it's just kind of the square footage of our buildings and how they're laid out. And in our buildings, some of our systems are bolted to the floor, other ones aren't. But having to move them long distances is a struggle at times. And even though they are portable, the more you move something like that, the greater chance that you could break it and have to replace them. And then with the two new schools that are being built, the way they're going to be laid out, having that third system is going to help a lot too when we're loading the buildings in the morning.
Kind of helps us keep that true house model. So we
Yes.
can have, for safety measures, have sixth graders come in, seventh, eighth come in a different door.
Anybody have questions? Director
Yes.
Beth?
So I've noticed, and while I have not noticed at all the high schools, but I interact and live close to West High, and I've noticed that the bus, they have to drop them off on the side, like where the tennis courts will be again, and then they walk around to the front of the building. Or if you're a special ed student, you're dropped off in the back, and they walk them through the school all the way up to the front to walk them through the checkpoint and then to take them back. With this third purchase, would this be more accessible to them, like in that back drop off? Yes. Okay. Yeah, because I can see that being a nightmare. I've witnessed that being a nightmare with drop offs.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Director Beck?
Yeah, so the current system, I believe we've got like one entrance that everybody goes into the high schools right now. Is that correct? Or has it's two at?
It's multiple entrances at each high school that we use. Once the day starts, though, there's a time when those get shut down, and then everybody comes in through that main entrance.
Right. And you've ironed out all the sort of hiccups that we had when we first implemented the system. The students are flowing through properly.
Yes, we seem to be doing very well with that flow of getting people in. We don't have a delay. We don't have kids being late to class. Loading the buildings is going very well.
Okay. And then the last question I had is how often do you have to move these around? And does it depend on the school? Does it depend on the activity?
Yes, it absolutely depends on the building. I will tell you that at Williams, we have to move one every morning because the entrance that they use in the morning to load, they don't use the front entrance.
Okay.
But then once the day starts, we have to move that unit every day up to the front of the building.
Okay. So this would alleviate having to do that every single day.
Yes.
And are these the same ones that were used at, say, Brady Street Stadium?
Yeah. Yes, they are.
So they have to get moved there as well?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? So they actually take them from the school building to Brady Street?
No, the first two that we purchased were for Brady Street, and that was kind of our test model.
Oh, okay.
And then we found out that we liked what they were doing, and so then we wanted to put them in the buildings. The ones at Brady Street, when the football season's over, we actually moved those, and we were using those at two of our buildings during the school year for their events that were going on.
Oh, okay.
So those would still be in the mix after football season, that we still have the ability to move those to buildings so they have the added support.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Sounds good. This will come up at the next regular meeting. Naming of Brady Street Stadium for Roger Craig. I would assume it's Mr. Flynn.
First of all, Mr. Shevlin apologizes that he could not be here tonight. He had a prior engagement. He's actually teaching coaching classes so that we can keep coaches in our ranks. So that is the reason that he's not here tonight. But the recommendation is that we rename Brady Street Stadium after Roger Craig. And I feel like I could just stop at that. But the resume and the things that Mr. Craig did on the football field and beyond, quite frankly, are remarkable. And I will read the background information. Mr. Roger Craig is a legendary figure both in the Davenport schools and the world of college and professional football. Roger attended the Davenport schools during his academic career, eventually starring as a football player, wrestler, and track and field star at Davenport Central High School, leading his team to a state championship in 1976. As a senior, Roger rushed for over 1,500 yards and 27 touchdowns, including a 353-yard, 4-touchdown effort in his final high school game. After high school, he played 3 full seasons at the University of Nebraska, finishing his career with over 2,400 yards and 26 touchdowns. His skills and work ethic at Nebraska led him to being drafted in the second round of the 1983 NFL Draft by the San Francisco 49ers. During his career with the 49ers, Roger became the first player to score 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, was the first player in NFL history to rush and receive for at least 1,000 yards in a season, won 3 Super Bowls, and he cemented himself as one of the most versatile players in the history of the NFL. Upon retirement, Roger finished his career with over 9,000 rushing yards, 5,500 receiving yards, and 82 touchdowns. In the winter of 2026, it was announced that Roger would be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and I believe this makes him the second Iowan ever to be inducted. It is he and Kurt Warner, who was at the University of Northern Iowa, maybe when I was in school there. And I will say, my dad was fortunate enough to coach both Roger and Curtis Craig, and I had the opportunity I was probably about 11 years old. Roger came back for a track meet, and I got to shake his hand, and I can still remember exactly where I was standing, exactly what he was wearing, how big the ring on his finger was. And I truly believe that his work and his presence and his roots here in Davenport will serve as a beacon for what our football players and our athletes and student athletes should want to become.
Thank you. Director Beck.
This is not, this is just kind of a random question. So I know the signage has been calling that the Brady Street complex, the whole area. So would this be officially Roger Craig Stadium at the Brady Street complex?
I believe the conversation has been this will be Roger Craig Stadium.
Okay.
So there will be some signage changes that would be required.
But it's just the stadium, the football stadium part, right?
That
Okay.
is correct.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Currently, the track is named after Coach Ira Dunsworth.
Right.
Yeah, but it would be Roger Craig Stadium.
Okay. Awesome.
Anybody else? Director Hayes.
I don't have a question. Well, it's sort of a question and a comment. Long overdue for sure. After 3 Super Bowl rings, and we've had that 33 suit at Central forever, it seems like. It was a long time coming, but I'm glad to see that it's finally here. And I know the family is excited about it. I saw Artez on the news Friday, I believe it was, giving an interview. And Christine, I talked to her, and she's just ecstatic about it and trying to solicit people to go to Canton, Ohio in August for the actual ceremony. So I know the family's very excited and thankful for it.
This will come up for a vote at our next regular meeting, which I don't know that we have that on there, Ivy, so just be sure this gets put on there. Thank you. Anybody else? Superintendent report?
None at this time.
Administrative report?
None at this time.
Board request? Board reflections? Director Hayes?
Well, I'm excited about the new Roger Craig Stadium. I'm excited for the recognition and the 4 individuals that were selected for that. The budget information, we used to be on pins and needles waiting on it, and now I like the relaxed atmosphere, able to follow along and see everything there. So looks like we're going in the right direction.
Director Beck.
I really appreciate the Heart of Excellence Awards that we've been able to start doing. The ability to recognize people who are doing something exceptional in an already exceptional district is really important. But I also appreciate hearing from people when maybe we have some room for improvement. Or questions or concerns. And so I also very much appreciate the fact that we can so easily renew our agreements with our partners like the city, police, and EICC. We've got really good working relationships. We've put in the work to establish those partnerships, and we've really put the information out there. And I think it's a testament to the fact that Davenport really is a big community. We're all in this together.
Thank you. Director Yonke.
I am, of course, always excited to see about the financial. Beyond that, it would be the Heart of Excellence Awards. It's always that was a great addition to embrace staff and praise them on like the great accomplishments that are going on within our schools. And as always, whenever we have someone come and speak, I would like to thank the public for coming and parents for coming and sharing their concerns with the board. And it's brave to get up there and stand and talk and share what is going on. And just, well, I cannot speak for everyone on the board. I can only speak for myself. I say I hear you and I listen, and I am concerned as well. So thank you for your time and your bravery for that. Thank you.
Director Poston.
Well, a couple things. First, I'd like to thank President Klein Jerome for getting the Heart of Excellence Award started. I think it's an excellent way of honoring our staff, and so thank you for that. And then the naming of the stadium, Roger Craig Stadium, I think is just an absolute no-brainer, long overdue, and I think that will be excellent recognition for Roger Craig and his family.
Thank you. Director Barnes.
I am always grateful for the open forum and learning about things that maybe don't always rise to our level without open forum participants. So always grateful for that. And as a person who grew up in the great state of Nebraska, I am delighted that this city and school district will be honoring a Nebraska Cornhusker and Roger Craig. I remember watching him faithfully when I was younger. So what a great honor for him and also for our school district, and that's important.
Superintendent.
I think Roger Craig Stadium sounds amazing, and I can envision a really cool evening where that gets unveiled, and so more to come on that front. But I also appreciate the continued enhancements of safety in our buildings, and we're lucky to have retired Sergeant Nyrink always at the helm for that. So someone said to me one time, what airplane do you want to ride on, the one with those things or without them? And that just kind of stuck with me, and our kids feel that way for the most part.
Thank you. I appreciate there's a policy and a process in getting things named after former employees or former students. And I appreciate the fact that the athletic directors took the time. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out, a lot of recommendations to be made before it even comes to the board. So I appreciate that they took the time to fill it out and get that going for the Roger Craig Stadium. Heart of Excellence, it is always nice to be able to recognize people for all their hard work, and it's work that their colleagues have nominated, so they also see the excellence in all this. And I'm glad we have a continuing community college agreement, because I think that's an important program at North High. So Well, Director Barnes, you're close enough to where Director Potts would sit. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
4 minutes and 47 seconds.
I tried hard.